I want to get into something a little different tonight, and I call it inside the pictures. So what I want to do is I want to get inside some of these photos because I've been using photos along with some images and some videos, some short clips, and what a lot of these beat reporters have been saying to really piece together my analysis of what's going on. And so we haven't been able to really do that this year. It's been a really odd, again, a unique camp. And so photos are going to tell a lot of the story this year. And so let's go inside the photos as we look at some of these photographs. So this first photo is, I threw the first couple in here just as me wanting to talk about some photos that I thought were pretty cool. This one is interesting for me because every time I see Reuben Foster, he's smiling, man. He's got a smile on his face. I love it, man. He seems to be a guy that has infectious energy, and he just enjoys the game of football. And I love the fact that he said that he understood just how close he was to having this thing that he loves so much taken away from him. And he's got a whole new approach now to the game, does Reuben Foster. And you see it. Every time I see him, this guy's smiling. And I'll tell you this much. Every time I see him, too, he's around Cole Holcomb. They seem to be really building a bond together, and I love that because they could be the future of the Washington football team linebacker position. And Holcomb, I saw him and Holcomb dapping each other up the other day, and that's going to be a fun watch. If those guys are healthy and they're flying around, we know both of them can run. I think that's going to be a really fun situation to watch those guys evolve and develop. And then you see him talking to DeShazer Everett. He's another guy we don't talk about a lot, but I think DeShazer is a guy that they are really comfortable with. And he's a core special teamer and a guy that when things fall apart at safety, if all else fails, you can always put in DeShazer Everett. So I think he's another guy that's probably going to make this football team as well. As you get to the next photo, I thought this was also a pretty cool photo to look at here. The two Wiley vets on the roster, well, there are three of them, but these are two of the three older guys. I told you, only 5 guys on this roster, 30 years or older. And when you look at it, you've got the elder statesman, Thomas Davis, at 37 years old. You got Alex Smith in the middle of the two at 36, and then you got AD at 35 years old. So we got some really old guys, but we don't have many older guys, okay? The other 2 guys that are 30 or older are Tress Way, which, again, we're talking about a punter here, at 30 years old, and then Ryan Kerrigan is 32. Outside of that, I don't know if there are any other guys on this roster that are 30 years or older. Here are 2 of them. I'd love to know what this conversation is about that they're having right here. They're both laughing a little bit. I'd love to know what these 2 Wiley vets are talking about here and what they think about this roster. They've been on so many NFL rosters and teams over the life of their careers. I wonder what it is that they're talking about right here, man. Really interesting to see these 2 walking and talking and what their impact will be on this roster because I think more so than the play on the field, their impact in the locker room and the presence that they will have and the impact that they'll have on these young players may actually be something that is greater than the actual play that we get from these guys on the field. So it was nice to see Thomas Davis, TD and AD chopping it up off to the side. I thought that was pretty cool. So now this photo here is a photo. I actually got to see this play. So I thought this was an interesting play down in the red zone. They were running their red zone offense, and Antonio Gibson comes out of the backfield on a swing route. And we've been talking about Sean Dion Hamilton all the time and how we love this guy and we want him to be on the football team and he needs to be in the game more. He needs more snaps. And on this particular play, Sean Dion had Antonio Gibson one-on-one out of the backfield. And it was funny because Sean Dion had the angle. and there wasn't a ton of space, and so you felt like he should be able to get to Gibson and push him out of bounds. Out of bounds is his friend here. There's no way Gibson is going to turn the corner on him and get into the end zone. And man, to see Gibson turn on the burners, beat Sean Dion to the corner, and then Sean Dion tried to push him out of bounds, but because Gibson is so fast, he doesn't get a good enough push. Gibson then plants his feet, and this is the photo that they took of him planting and then diving. Look at his calf muscles, guys. This guy is thick. He's built, physically built. And he gains his balance and then dives and lunges for the end zone and gets in here for a touchdown. Gibson's going to be a really good weapon out of the backfield, man. And this play was kind of indicative of that because Sean Dion is no slouch in terms of athleticism. And Gibson was just too fast for him on the perimeter. Beat him to the spot and was able to turn the corner and get in to the end zone. I thought this was a pretty cool shot here because you get to see him turning the corner on Sean Dion, but you also get to see just how physically built Antonio Gibson is. We heard 6 feet, 230. He's 6 feet, 230, folks. This is not a game. All right, as we move on to the next photo. This one is of Bryce Love, and I told you this 35 jersey is hideous. It's ugly, but that doesn't mean the guy rocking it isn't doing some work. And this was Bryce getting outside on a carry. I got a little bit of this one. This is one of those times where, you're in practice and they tell you to finish the play. He gets to the outside and he turns it up and runs it all the way to the end zone here. But Bryce Love is a guy that I'm really excited about, man. A lot of you are. We talked about him tonight. And I think he's a guy that when we start looking at the roster for 2021, he's going to be one of the guys we're going to be super excited about. One of the guys we're going to be talking about, hey, this is a guy we can continue to build around. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how we are going to be drafting a running back in the 2021 draft. And that may be the case, And I've been hearing a lot of fans talk about how we need to draft this guy and this running back and that running back. And maybe running back isn't on the shopping list next year. And if it's not, it's because of guys like Gibson and guys like Bryce Love and maybe even J.D. McKissick stepping up. A guy like Peyton Barber potentially stepping up and making this team feel comfortable about what they have at running back and maybe looking elsewhere to continue to help this team. And maybe running back is in a position they feel like they need to spend at least an early round draft pick. Maybe they take a 5th or a 6th round back. That never hurts. But I've been hearing people talk about a 1st or a 2nd round back. That may not be the case, and it may not be the case because of guys like Bryce Love. And it's just good to see him be able to open up and carry the football, man. It's been a while since we've been able to see him do that here. And so going to be really interesting to see what Bryce Love is able to do. But I thought it was really interesting to see both of these running backs in two different plays. And I really wanted to highlight them because we've talked about the running back position quite a bit as we've broken down a lot of these positions. So this next photo that I'm going to take a look at is an interesting one. So this is now, we're shifting to the offense now for a second. And I wanted to take a look at the offense in particular. And the first thing that I wanted to talk about was, remember we just talked about Kevin Pierre-Louis and how he's playing strong side backer. Well, there he is right there. Now, that's him, backside of this play. He's a guy that's getting a lot of reps, a lot of first-team reps. And so it'll be, kind of intriguing to see if he's a guy that they see starting, as a strong side backer. A lot of these guys are going to get reps. And that's why I said don't get really hung up on who's starting, who's not starting, because there's a lot of reps to go around. And if they're going to platoon these linebackers the way that they say they are, then it'll be really fascinating to see how many snaps guys are playing. I think KPL could be playing a ton of snaps. He's going to be one of their key special teams players, but he's also a guy that I think is going to be a really good player for us defensively. And you see him on the backside of this play looking to try to chase it down. But the real reason I wanted to show you guys this picture was not because of KPL, but because of this guy right here. This guy is Peyton Barber, 25. And I don't know if you understand this, but he's going to make this football team. I keep trying to. When guys got released, the first thing everybody wanted to go to was Bryce Love and Antonio Gibson and the young guys. And I'm like, don't forget about Peyton Barber. He's the first and second down backup to AD. And I told you this last week when the Geis thing hit and Ron Rivera had to address the media. The first thing he said when they started running down running backs, he said, don't forget about Peyton Barber. They brought him here for a reason. And I told you Rivera respects Peyton Barber's game. The running backs coach, Randy Jordan, said, this guy is as tough of a runner as we have on this roster. Think about that for a second, because we also have AD on this football team. But that goes to show you that Peyton Barber is a no-nonsense runner. He does nothing great, does everything well. I'm telling you right now, as Washington football fans, you're going to really learn to like Peyton Barber because he's a physical back. I liked him last year. Remember, we played against Tampa last year. He ate us up. It wasn't a ton of yards, but they were impressive runs last year. I understand this. Peyton Barber is going to make this football team. And I wanted you to understand that. And I highlight this because look at who's on the field around him. This is a first team rep that he's getting here. This isn't Kyle Allen handing him the football. This isn't Steven Montez handing him the football. Jaron Christian is at tackle. You're looking at Deron Payne at defensive tackle. You're looking at Dwayne Haskins handing him the ball. KPL is in the game. This is a first team rep he's getting here. He's going to make the football team. And this is a guy that you should not dismiss nor discount in Peyton Barber. As we move on, this next photo is really interesting here because you look at this formation, and the first thing I want to look at before we even get to the offense here, first thing I want to look at is the defense. Remember, we talked about the defensive line and the rotation that they had and the guys that were with the first team and taking the reps. And I talked about that on the training camp video yesterday, but look at who's out there. If you look, you've got Montez Sweat all the way on the left side of the line. Next to him is Matt Ioannidis. You can see his helmet sticking out. You can see Jonathan Allen there on the field. And then you've got Ryan Kerrigan on the end. So these are the guys that they had with the first team, the very first reps out there defensively. Remember, I talked about that of Sweat, Ioannidis, Allen, and Kerrigan. You see that in front of you right here. So this is really what they have out there. All right, now let's talk about the offense. Let's go to the offensive side. So you know this is a first team rep. You look at the offensive side. This is the starting five that you're looking at. You're looking at 74 all the way to the left, which is Jaron Christian. Right next to him, you can see crouched down is Wes Martin. All right, 68. Or 67, excuse me. Next to him is Chase Roulier, 73. Next to him, Brandon Sheriff, 75. Next to him is Morgan Moses, 76. So the starting offensive line there is intact. The guys that they think are going to start, at least right now. Haskins in the backfield along with Antonio Gibson. But this is where things get really interesting here. All right, so the first arrow is number 10. That's our rookie wide receiver, Antonio Gandy Golden, the Gandy Man. You see his hair sticking out of his helmet. He's a big guy too. You look at him, he's a big fella as well. So he's out there getting a first team rep. If you look all the way to the opposite side of the formation, you see Cam Sims, number 89, getting a rep as well with the first team. So they're platooning. I told you Terry McLaurin is one of the guys that continues to be in, but they're using all of these receivers. They're finding out who can play, who can't play. There are a lot of guys getting opportunities, but the guy that really intrigued me the most in this photo, and the reason why I wanted you to see this photo, and I absolutely, you see Gibson in the backfield, our other rookie. So you see the two big rookie draft picks on the field at the same time. But the guy that really amazed me here, and I was taken aback by his presence in, was Marcus Ball. That's number 85 here. All right. Marcus Ball. And again, he's in. This is a first team rep. I just told you the first team defense is in, first team offense is in. This is a first team rep with Marcus Ball in the lineup, and you cannot discount that. All right. And they really like this kid. This could have been Richard Rodgers. This could have been Jeremy Sprinkle. This could have been Logan Thomas, but instead it's Marcus Ball getting this rep. Now, again, they're platooning these guys, and everybody that I just named probably got first-team reps as well, but I don't think a lot of you thought, I sure didn't think that Marcus Ball was going to be getting first-team reps. So, again, the beauty of this is you're getting some of these photos give you a little bit of information. You can start to gather some information here as to what's going on. And Marcus Ball is a guy, again, you cannot sleep on, getting first team reps. 85 is out there and he's alive. 85 is alive, and it's not Vernon Davis. It's Marcus Ball, folks. So don't fall asleep behind the wheel there, man. A lot of young guys in here. I mean, look at this group that Dwayne Haskins is walking up to the line of scrimmage with. You got 2 rookies. You got a second-year player who hasn't taken an NFL snap in Marcus Ball. And then you got Cam Sims, who is a third-year player that still hasn't really played a lot of football. I mean, it's a young football team. Yikes. As we move on and we get to the next photo, this is the last photo that I want to show you guys here. And the intrigue here with this photo, again, first team defense versus first team offense. You look at the defense, you see that now you got Chase Young in, all right, as your right defensive end, left side of the offensive formation. Next to him is Daron Payne. All right, next to him is Matt Ioannidis, and next to him is Montez Sweat. This is more so along the lines of what I think the defense is going to look like as far as defensive line. Maybe Ioannidis is in, maybe he isn't, but I think it's going to look more like this and less like the last one that you saw. But so you know this is a first team rep. But then you look at the offense, and again, you see the offensive line, it's fully intact. Jaron Christian at left tackle. Right next to him, you see 67. You can see the piece of his helmet in Wes Martin. 73 is your center, Chase Roulier. Right next to him is Brandon Sheriff, and right next to him is Morgan Moses with his J-Bird cleats on. But the interesting thing here for me is who's lined up next to those guys. So next to him is a guy that Ron Rivera continues to gush about in Logan Thomas. So this is a guy that they think is going to be the starting tight end. They like a lot of the things that he brings to the table. Similar to Marcus Ball, they love his athleticism, and they think he can be a problem receiving the football. Now, they said they love his physicality, blocking. We'll see about that down the line. But another first team rep, another tight end, and this is a guy that we know is going to make the football team. It's just in what capacity. Is he the starter? Is he getting the bulk of the reps? How do they use him? Do they move him around? Do they flex him out? They think they can do a lot of things with Logan Thomas, and Rivera keeps talking about how young he is and how he's got a lot to learn and how he hasn't been playing the tight end position for a very long time. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how he's utilized, but that's a guy that I thought, looking at him, first team rep, really interesting seeing Logan Thomas out there. And then this is a guy here that, you see number 80 and you're like, who the hell is that? A lot of you probably are thinking to yourself, who the hell is 80? Well, that's Dontrell Inman right there. He's been in. I looked at a lot of photos and I said, man, Dwayne sure is spending a lot of time with this number 80 dude. So I actually had to go find out who the hell number 80 was because, Dwayne was off to the side talking to him and they were doing some route things. And I said, damn, he's doing a lot of work for a guy that might not be on the roster. And sure enough, I saw that 80 was Dontrell Inman, and I realized, okay, no, he's going to be on the football team. And that's why Dwayne is trying to get him up to speed on everything. So that's another guy you need to familiarize yourself with because he's not going anywhere. So, sometimes these photos can tell a lot of the story, and we see who is actually getting opportunities, who's getting reps, who's lining up where, how, and how much. So you look at the sideline of this photo and you see a lot of guys watching. You see Ryan B over there, 92. Could he be in the mix for one of those backup defensive tackle spots? You see 72. That's James Smith Williams over there on the sidelines. He's next to number 54, Nate Orchard, who's over there watching. Ryan Anderson back at practice, 52 watching. 95 is Jordan Brailford. He's over there watching. So, you kind of get a sense of what's going on at practice a little bit through photos sometimes. And I thought that was pretty interesting to say the least.